now introducing one of the most highly rated agents in St Kilda, Zoe Cherrie.
I've been in real estate for about 6 or 7 years now. I started down in Chelsea, down on the bay, and then moved up to St Kilda pretty quickly after about a year. So I started as a PA for a company called Bigger & Scott, who are now in Elwood, and then worked my way up kind of to a sales consultant, and then came across to Buxton as a standalone agent.
Why do you think people are choosing to buy in St Kilda?
I think St Kilda is somewhat a timeless suburb, in that people across the whole world know St Kilda. They know Luna Park, they know St Kilda Beach, they know the shopping precincts. So I think for that reason there's always something for everybody, and it will never go out of fashion.
How has the market in St Kilda been performing in the last 6 months?
Market's been performing pretty well. I really believe that the apartment market's been underpinned by the first home buyers. They're certainly more prevalent than ever in the St Kilda marketplace. A lot of young people obviously moving out of home for the first time want to be in a lifestyle location, and so for that reason St Kilda's been a pretty popular area for the past couple of years. The housing market locally is pretty scarce. Turnover of houses isn't frequent, so when a house does pop up locally, they're pretty highly sought after and sell very well as well.
How has the market changed in St Kilda since you've started the industry here?
Just the rate of redevelopment and cleaning up the suburb. Places like the SB, the Village Bell Hotel, they're obviously undergone reconstruction and they're pretty special now, both those venues, the Prince Band Room, the Gatwick, obviously changing hands to now be apartments. I was in two minds about that, just in that we need more public housing, but obviously there's a lot of riffraff going on in the Gatwick at the time, and cleaning it up, redeveloping, what's the right answer? There really wasn't one. That unfortunately we found has caused a little bit of riffraff along Fitzroy Street, just in that now the homeless people have nowhere to go, which is obviously a big concern for the locals in the community. So that's probably the next step that St Kilda needs to have, is more public housing and assisting the homeless. Literally everyone, which is I think why St Kilda is such a popular suburb. There is something for everybody. It's very eclectic. You walk down the street, you'll see a mix of the rich, the poor, unfortunately, the young, the old, the artists, the lawyers. Literally everybody can call St Kilda home, and that's why people love it.
St Kilda is obviously a developed area, but how has it progressed in the last 5 years or so in terms of community and infrastructure?
So infrastructure, as I mentioned, such as the major venues, have undergone reconstruction and back to their former glory. The SB is fantastic. I'm not sure if you've been there, but it's again got something for everybody. They've maintained the kind of gritty pub area to it, but then also have serviced kind of the upper echelon of the market, the glitz and glam as well. So it's kind of undergone a wave of redevelopment, as you just said. The St Moritz is obviously coming in a couple of years, which is a Gurnard development, which will inject $550 million along the St Kilda coastline. So once that has obviously been established, I think St Kilda will change pretty drastically, literally overnight. And hopefully those people that are bought in there invest into the community, local produce, local businesses, and obviously see St Kilda become even more of a booming suburb. But I just think due to the reconstruction of the major venues, cleaning up the streets, etc., it's come a long way literally in the past 5 years, and I still think that it has a long way to go as well.
What types of homes are available in terms of architecture and size in this area?
Yeah, we see a lot of Victorian houses locally. In terms of apartments, we see a lot of the Art Decos. There's a couple of special Victorian apartments such as the Star and Garter Hotel on Rope Street. So namely you'll see in terms of architecture that Deco era in terms of apartments, houses adored in Victorian, and then obviously the newer apartments from kind of the 50s upwards. People typically gravitate towards the older style, be that the Deco or kind of the solid 50s through to 80s developments. But there's a bit of everything, again, in St Kilda.
What do you think the growth potential of St Kilda is long term?
Given, as I mentioned, things like the St Moritz being developed, the new pubs and restaurants opening, and St Kilda changing pretty drastically in the next 5 years just due to what's being injected into the community. Again, I think that buying now for the long term is certainly a great option because the suburb still isn't at its peak. So I think there's a bit of growth to go in the next 5 years.
Do you have any advice for people looking to invest in real estate in St Kilda?
I think that you should buy something that everybody else wants. So competing in an auction is actually a really good thing, as much as it's quite daunting for many people. We had an auction over the weekend where we had 7 registered bidders, which is pretty compelling given that we're in a downtrending market. It sold for 100k above reserve price. All those 7 buyers were first home buyers. So buying something that everybody else wants is certainly going to set you up long term. Having something difficult to buy means it will be very successful to sell down the track. So again, those solid 70s properties, 50s, 60s, anything older style is a solid development. Buying into something new can be a bit risky, just in that you're one of perhaps 1,000 new properties, and there's not much difference when you go between, say, tower to tower. But people like to be in a smaller complex with big bones, so that's why the older style properties are certainly very popular.
Do you think it's a good time to buy in the current market?
I think it's always a good time to buy. Getting into the market is very important. The market has been pretty red hot for the past couple of years. I think that as a buyer, this is the market you've been waiting for. People are hesitant, people are reluctant, and if you're in a position of confidence, if you're cashed up and you can make a quick decision, then you'll knock out your competition pretty quickly, because people are just, a little bit hesitant at the moment. So the time to buy is now. Park your money in a good investment and watch it have a great return into the future. Hi guys, I'm Zoe from Buxton Port Phillip. If you ever need any help with anything real estate, please do give me a call, 0401 018 013. Thank you for having me.